My name is Madison Hayes. I am 27 years old, a woman who's been carrying the weight of my family's words my whole life. They mocked me for years, branding me ugly and stupid, like it was my birthright. At a family dinner at Cheesecake Factory in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, my sister leaned in, smirking, and sneered. "Did Mom and Dad pick you up from the trash?" "Mom, Dad." My little brother, they all burst out laughing, like it was just another holiday card joke. I sat there, swallowing rage, their voices echoing decades of jabs about my looks and my stupid tech obsession. They had no clue I'd built something massive, something that'd make them choke on those words. A week later, my phone blew up 15 missed calls and a dozen texts from Mom, her voice desperate. "Please, save the house. We're losing everything." Their golden child's husband tanked his crypto startup, dragging their savings down with it. I typed back, "Ice cold, ugly and stupid is busy right now." That moment felt like shattering 27 years of their snow-covered lies. Ever been laughed at by the ones who should lift you up? Ever had to cut ties to save yourself? I did. And it's why I'm here, sharing how I turned their cruelty into my empire. Stick around, this gets wild. If their words ever cut you deep, hit subscribe, share your story below, and let's turn scars into strength together to get back to that suburb in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, where the snow piled up like unspoken grudges. My dad, Brandon Hayes, was a car salesman, khakis, dad jokes, but the kind that landed like punches. He had this way of turning everything into a punchline at my expense. Mom, Carla Hayes, taught counseling at the local high school, always dishing advice that felt more like judgments. Then there was my sister Madison, 2 years older than me at 29 now, with that golden hair that bounced even in the wind, green eyes, and a nose like it was sculpted for magazine covers. She was the one everyone fawned over, the star of every photo op, and my little brother Riley, who was just a toddler back then but already picking up their cues, echoing the laughs like it was a game. Me, I got the short end, thanks to New Jersey humidity turning to frost. My dark hair frizzed like I'd stuck my finger in a socket. Dad's thick brows made mine a unibrow disaster. Mom's round face rounded mine out, and the body type that had my pediatrician checking husky on forms back in the early 2000s. Imagine being 8 flipping through school papers, seeing husky stamped like a label you couldn't peel off. That was me, discovering I was the other one in a family that prized perfection. The jabs started early, the kind that stick like snow to boots. My earliest memory of really getting it was Madison's 8th birthday party when I was 6. Mom had us all in matching outfits for the photos, but she kept fussing over me. "Honey, sucking your cheeks a bit, no? That's worse. Maybe just stand behind your sister." Adults chimed in, cooing over Madison. "She's the star, the other one's cozy for winter." Dad introduced us to his mall buddies as my daughter Madison and my little linebacker. He'd pause for the chuckle, and they'd laugh, because what else do you do when a dad roasts his own kid? "At least we'll save on prom dresses," he'd add. Winking. People laughed, but it burrowed in. Mom's cruelty came wrapped in help. At 9, she signed me up for Weight Watchers meetings, the only kid there, sitting with celery sticks while Madison got PB&J sandwiches and chips. Childhood obesity was the big scare then, but Mom made it personal. "Eat more veggies. Honey, your complexion looks tired from all that basement time." It wasn't just the food, it was the constant comparison. Madison brought home a B+ from cheer practice, and it was great effort. "Sweetie, I got an A on a test," and it was, "Well, if you weren't always on that stupid computer, maybe it'd be an A." Like my brain was the problem, not the fact that code didn't judge how I looked. Family reunions were winter hell, with the extended crew picking up the vibe because Mom and Dad broadcast it. Aunt Fiona, Mom's sister, once praised my snowflake drawing at Thanksgiving when I was 10, before I could blush. Mom jumped in. Yes, she's creative. Madison, tell everyone about your cheer solo in the winter show. The message was crystal. My wins didn't count. They were footnotes to Madison's spotlight. Riley. Barely 3 started giggling along when Dad called me stupid, ugly snowball, throwing snowballs at me in the yard like it was playtime. Everything was a contest, and I was rigged to lose from the start. Madison's green eyes got just like Grandma's lucky girl. Mine thick lashes, but you need to pluck those brows. Her bouncy hair, Pantene perfect. Mine, frizz control, or you'll scare the neighbors. It piled on, layer by layer, until I hid in the basement with Dad's old PC. Computers didn't care if you were husky or had a unibrow they ran, or they didn't. No one told a line of code to suck in its cheeks for the interface to look slimmer. By 11, I was teaching myself HTML from library books hauled from Philly Mall. Building simple pages about snow forts and cheer routines ironic. Right. It was my first escape, the screen glowing warmer than any holiday light, but those early years shaped everything, turning their words into armor I didn't know I was forging. The basement became my lab, where stupid ideas turned into something real, something they couldn't touch. Those basement coding sessions turned into a full survival strategy by middle school. I had it down to a science wake-up before dawn to dodge the morning roast sessions, scarf down breakfast alone in the dark, then bolt to school. Breakfast was prime time for Mom's helpful scans. Your hair's a frozen mess again, fix that before the bus. Dad would chime in with a yawn. Linebacker ready for the field. It was their daily opener, setting the tone for the day. I'd slip out, backpack heavy with notebooks, aiming to blend into the windy hallways. Lunch was my first line of defense. Cafeteria drama. No thanks. I'd claim extra credit projects to the teachers, holing up in the computer lab instead. The hum of fans and click of keys drowned out the world. I'd tweak CSS for mock websites, pretending it was homework while the popular crowd traded gossip and hostess cakes. No one bothered you in there if you looked busy enough. Dinner was non-negotiable, but I'd count the minutes in my room after, door locked, screen glowing until lights out. That routine kept me sane, a shield against the constant undercurrent of comparison. Madison wasn't always the villain in it. She'd burst into my room now and then, cheer pom-poms in hand, begging for math help or a quick run-through of her routine. Come on, you're good at this stuff, she'd say, flopping on my bed like we were normal sisters. Those moments were rare, only when Mom and Dad were out running errands or at Philly Mall sales. She'd laugh at my lame jokes, even share a candy bar, almost like she saw me as more than the shadow. But the second parents walked in, the mask snapped back. Thanks, but don't tell anyone I needed help from the basement dweller. It was a glimpse of what could have been, making the rest hurt more. Looking back at old photos, the few where I'm not cropped out, I wasn't some monster, just average. A bit rounder, with hair that fought every brush. But when you're told daily you're the flaw in the family portrait, it warps you. The real gut punch came in 8th grade, one of those makeover parties that were all the rage in the early 2000s. Mom was thrilled, like it was her chance to fix me for good. She even sprung for new clothes from the mall, whispering, "This'll help with the holiday cards next year." I showed up nervous, surrounded by girls giggling over lip gloss and straighteners. The host mom, a bubbly type with a salon smile, took one look and said, "Oh, honey, you have such pretty eyes. Why do you always hide behind those bangs and that scarf?" I froze. Then the dam broke. I sobbed right there. Mascara running like a bad experiment. 13 years. And no one in my family had ever spotted anything worth praising. Not the eyes, not the smarts. Nothing. They saw only the husky frame or the stupid hobbies. Mom patted my back on the way home, but it was empty. It's okay. We'll try harder next time. Try harder to hide me, she meant. Riley amped it up around then, hitting that age where he aped everything to fit in. Hallway taunts became his specialty. "Stupid nerd sis ruining the snowman photos," he'd yell, bumping my shoulder as kids snickered. It wasn't just words. He'd accidentally knock my books into slush puddles, grinning like dad after a bad joke. Family loyalty. I guess pick the winning side, and the underdog gets the boot. Middle school hallways felt like minefields. Every glance a reminder I was the punchline. The computer lab saved me, and Ms. Sierra, the tech teacher, spotted it first. She was this no-nonsense woman with a knack for seeing potential under the awkward. One lunch. She caught me debugging a simple script and slid over. "That's solid logic better than half my seniors. Want to learn JavaScript after school?" It was the first time someone valued my brain over my bangs. We met Tuesdays and Thursdays. The classroom empty except for us and the glow of monitors. She'd challenge me with real problems. Make this button respond to clicks without lagging. I'd code until my fingers cramped, her nods fueling me more than any family pat on the back. "You've got a gift for this. Kid, don't let anyone dim it." Of course. They tried to snuff it out. Parent-teacher night rolled around, holiday-themed with twinkly lights strung up like a bad omen. Ms. Sierra pulled Mom and Dad aside, beaming, "Your daughter's a natural. She's leading after-school Java sessions, soon could have a real future in tech." Dad chuckled. "That's cute, but she's better off focusing on something practical, like sales, techs for boys with better hair." Mom nodded. All smiles for the crowd. "Oh, that's sweet. But she needs to prioritize subjects that lead to a husband. Chasing basement hobbies is just a distraction." They walked away arm in arm, leaving Ms. Sierra fuming quietly. I overheard from the hall, heart sinking like fresh snow. Even my one win got twisted into another failure. Those sessions with Ms. Sierra kept the flame alive. Though, turning stupid into a spark, they couldn't blow out. Middle school ended, but the routine stuck, evolving into something sharper. High school took that routine and twisted it into a nightmare, especially with Mom pulling double duty as the school counselor. Her office was a trap I couldn't avoid mandatory check-ins every quarter, disguised as support. She'd perch on her desk, flipping through my file like it was a bad novel. "If you structured your essays like this, you'd never get into a decent college," she'd say, tapping my latest paper. It wasn't just feedback, it was a public shaming, her voice carrying to the waiting room. Classmates would smirk when I left, whispering, "Counselor's kid must be a mess." Ever been counseled by your mom into a negative example? It's like getting therapy from the source of your trauma. She layered it with the usual digs, blending school critiques with home hits. Less hunching in the back row to hide, more speaking up or no one like Dylan's friends will notice you. Dylan was my sister's boyfriend, the star quarterback with the easy smile and Letterman jacket that made girls swoon. Mom was convinced he was my only shot at normal, pushing me to fix up for group hangs. Spoiler. He stuck with Madison, leaving me to fade into the bleachers. Madison owned high school like it was scripted for her. Senior year, she was homecoming queen, gliding down the field in her crown, while I manned the coat check in the gym's chill. Dating Dylan sealed it. He'd sling an arm around her at pep rallies, the crowd cheering like she was royalty, every dance. She'd get crowned again, sequins sparkling under the lights, while I lingered by the punch bowl, invisible. Classmates loved the contrast, pulling me aside with feigned sympathy. "You're Madison's sister, she's so vibrant. How do you deal?" The unspoken end hung there, making me smaller each time. Survival meant upgrades to my arsenal. I'd arrive 20 minutes early for classes, snagging the back corner seat where spotlights missed. Lunch, I'd flash a forged note for library time. Burying myself in stacks near the computers, headphones became my armor big. Noise-canceling ones that screamed, "Approach at your own risk." I'd crank playlists of indie tracks, the bass thumping out the whispers. Free periods went to the library's quiet wing, where I'd sketch wireframes for websites. Far from the cafeteria cliques trading yearbook predictions, Ms. Sierra ramped up her role, turning after school into a lifeline. We'd dive deeper, her assigning portfolio pieces, wire a full site with user login, make it seamless. She'd review over coffee from the vending machine, marking up printouts with red pen. This authentication loop is tight. Polish the UI for accessibility. It was the first place my work got critiqued for strength, not flaws. When college apps loomed junior year, she cornered me after a session. "State Uni has a killer CS program full ride potential if we nail the essays." She handled the forms behind the scenes, knowing Mom and Dad would veto anything not on Madison's list. "Your logic shines. Don't let them clip your wings," she'd mutter, sealing the envelope. It was rebellion in paperwork, a secret ticket out. Madison's glow-up amplified the shade, as valedictorian. Her speech at graduation was a masterclass in irony. Standing tall on stage, gown flowing, she preached, "Embrace your unique spark, love yourself fiercely, no matter the storm." The audience ate it up, applauding as if she'd invented self-love. The girl who'd suggested I wrap a scarf over my face for her Sweet 16 photos to save the aesthetic now preaching authenticity, I clapped from the bleachers, bitter taste in my mouth. The ceremony photos sealed the farce. Family shots lined up, and there I was, shuffled to the rear behind the Christmas tree prop standard protocol. Mom posed with Madison front and center, Dad beaming like a proud sponsor. I caught snippets of Mom's chat with other parents. At least one came out polished. "We're still working on the other to grow into her looks, smart's nice. But grow into my features at 18 with Mom's round face and Dad's brows locked in. That ship had sailed. It was the final twist of the knife, their pride a mirror reflecting my erasure. High school wrapped with that bitter bow, the hypocrisy lingering like frost on the windows. But Ms. Sierra's envelope burned in my bag. A promise of thaw. That envelope from Ms. Sierra carried me out of high school and into a new world. The summer after graduation, I poured every waking hour into a job at Circuit City near the Philly Mall, fixing laptops and stacking cash in a secret account. Pro tip: never let toxic parents near your bank card. Every shift was a grind, customers whining about slow PCs, managers barking about quotas, but it was my ticket out. I'd sneak glances at coding tutorials between repairs, dreaming of a life beyond their jabs. By August, I'd saved enough for a deposit on a studio apartment near the State Uni in New Jersey. The day after graduation, while Mom and Dad were off at a brunch sipping mimosas, I loaded my Honda Civic with everything that mattered. If you've spent 18 years being told not to take up space, your life fits in a trunk. Aunt Fiona, Mom's sister who always saw through the family's charade, gave me the heads up they'd be out. I posted one cryptic line on Facebook, escaped the cold for good. Mom called within hours, not out of worry, but pure panic. What will people think when they see this? Not "are you okay?" just her image. always the star of the show. College hit like a breath of fresh air. For the first time, I wasn't Madison's shadow or the fix-it project. No one in the dorms cared about my frizzy hair or unibrow they saw me. Not the family's reject. I leaned into jeans and hoodies. No pretense. Just me. Classes were a grind, but computer science felt like home logic over judgment. I'd code late in the library, building apps for fun, not to prove anything. It was freedom, raw and unfiltered, like shedding a skin I'd been forced to wear. But holidays brought the old script back. I'd drag myself home for Thanksgiving, bracing for the onslaught. Mom would scan me at the door. Those late nights coding are wrecking your face. Eat a salad. Not just ramen. Dad's go-to was met any business majors yet. Tech's cute, but you need a real man to settle with. Madison, now strutting as a junior in her fancy private college, tossed out backhanded gems. It's bold, wearing whatever without caring how it looks. Riley, barely a freshman, would side-eye me across the table, muttering, "Still playing with computers? Get a real job already." His smirk mirrored Dad's, a new recruit to the family playbook. Each jab landed lighter, though their words were losing grip, like ice melting underfoot. Ever had family try to drag you back into their mold? How'd you shake it off? Junior year, I locked in a 4.0 GPA, juggling 3 coding projects for my department. A paid internship at a local tech firm came next. Not some glossy startup, but a solid outfit building back-end systems. I was damn good. My advisor started whispering about grad school tracks, but I was already hustling on the side. I'd built custom AI tutor apps for students, little tools to optimize study paths, like flashcards that learned your weak spots. Word spread through campus group chats, then beyond. A Twitch streamer, some guy with a following for late-night study sessions, used one of my apps on stream. "This thing's a game changer," he raved, flashing my GitHub link to thousands. My inbox exploded, orders piled up faster than I could code, a backlog stretching weeks. I quit Circuit City, no longer needing the retail grind. The family caught wind through a cousin's post. Some kid who saw the stream clip on Twitter. Their reaction classic. Dad texted, "Guess if you can't be a looker. You can fix nerd toys for cash," Mom called. Voice syrupy, "It's nice you're useful, honey, but don't let it distract from finding someone." Madison DM'd a laughing emoji, "You're selling study apps. Brave for not aiming higher." Riley just sent a shrug, "Whatever. Keep at it." I guess. They thought it was a cute side gig, not the spark of something massive. Their dismissal fueled me, turning every late-night debug into a middle finger to their doubts. That hustle wasn't just about cash, it was about proving my brain could outshine their labels. The orders kept coming, and I was already dreaming bigger, sketching ideas that would flip the script entirely. Those sketches from college nights evolved into an obsession post-grad. But first came the entry-level grind. I landed a junior developer gig at a mid-size software shop in Jersey, crunching back-end code for inventory systems. To my parents, it was that little hobby phase, a polite way to say temporary distraction until you find a husband. Madison was living her best life in a McMansion with Dylan, posting filtered selfies from their empire, her word for his latest scheme. I kept my head down, logging 40-hour weeks. But off hours were mine. 2 years in, I'd stacked enough experience to spot gaps in education tech. And that's when the real work started. The project was born from frustration with clunky study apps that drained batteries like bad habits. I wanted something smarter AI that predicted learning paths, optimizing for efficiency without the bloat, living on ramen and vending machine coffee in my cramped apartment. I coded through the wee hours, whiteboards plastered with algorithms, It was brutal 6 months of dead ends, debugging until my eyes burned. But the breakthrough hit one frozen night away to prune unlikely outcomes, slashing processing by 60%. Apps could deliver personalized tutoring without frying your phone, like having a private coach in your pocket. I tossed a demo video on Twitter on a whim, a 30-second clip of the app adapting to a mock quiz, paths branching like a choose-your-own adventure. Slept through a blizzard, woke to chaos, 100K views overnight. Retweets from a celeb dev influencer calling it the future of edtech. DMs flooded with beta testers, coders geeking out over the math. Emails pinged from studios I thought were spam, turns out. EduTech Corp was legit. Scouting for acquisitions. My phone melted from notifications. The first time stupid hobby felt like a superpower. The Zoom call with their execs was surreal. My face framed in a hoodie from a campus sale, cat batting at chords in the background. This predictive pruning revolutionary, the lead dev said, scribbling notes. Paradigm shift for mobile learning. They flew me to their Philly headquarters. My first business class ride, a blur of free snacks and imposter syndrome. In the conference room, glass walls overlooking the city, I walked them through the engine, heart hammering. Veterans with decades in the game leaned in, firing questions I somehow nailed. Scale it for 10K users, how's the latency? My mind screamed fraud, but they didn't blink. Numbers flew royalties, equity, when they landed on 600,000 after taxes. I nearly choked. Repeat that, I croaked. And they did. Kendra Lee, my lawyer I found through a uni alum network, handled the 3-month dance. Contracts are mazes, she said over coffee, breaking down clauses like Ms. Sierra with code. Sign nothing without me. She saved my skin on the non-compete, ensuring I kept rights to spin-offs. Signing happened on a drizzly Tuesday in her office, the pen heavy. Checking the bank app later, all those zeros hit like a glitch in the matrix. I sank to the floor. Cat tilting its head as I laughed through tears. First move loans gone with one click. That weight lifted cleaner than any diet Mom ever pushed. Next, a 3-bedroom in Cherry Hill. Nothing flashy, but with a dedicated office and standing desk that said, I made it. I kept it under wraps at first, savoring the win without their spin. But suburbs gossip like wildfire. A cousin spotted the acquisition article on a gaming forum and blasted it on Facebook. Hayes girl sells AI thing big bucks. The floodgates opened. Mom's weekly guilt calls morphed to daily gushes. I always knew you had it in you, buried under all that focus. Dad's texts pinged, proud. Kid maybe buy dad a new ride. DMs from distant relatives piled up, probing for loans or investments. It was Olympic-level flip-flopping, their tone shifting faster than Jersey weather. The dinner invite came wrapped in family bonding. Cheesecake factory near the mall. Mom's idea of upscale. I agreed. Dr. Tessa's voice in my head. Test the boundaries, see what sticks. They were overdressed, Mom in her church blazer. Dad in a tie, last seen at Madison's engagement party. Madison channeling desperate housewife chic. Aggressively nice, Mom cooed over my hair. Less frizzy these days. Dad grilled about the computer gig like he'd invented it. Madison stroked my arm. Sis, you're killing it. Sis hadn't heard that since we shared crayons. The mask cracked when I mentioned the app. It's helping thousands learn smarter. Efficient paths without waste. Madison's smile froze, eyes narrowing. Your stupid app paying bills while my life's freezing in this mortgage hell. Dylan's crypto tanked, everything savings gone. Kids facing public school chaos. Jealousy boiled over. She sneered. Did Mom and Dad pick you up from the trash to rub it in? Laughter erupted. Dad chuckling. Old times. Mom forcing a giggle. Riley smirking from his phone. The begs tumbled out. Family helps family chip in for the house. Madison teared up. Think of the kids, sis. I locked eyes with Mom. I thought you were treating, since family takes care of family. Silence dropped like a hard drive crash. I slid cash for my half exact. App calculated and stood. What would have meant the world not being called ugly and stupid every day for 18 years? Not having my sister pretend she didn't know me at school dances. Their faces twisted shock. Then fury. Madison whispered to Mom. Should have softened her up first. I walked out into the drizzle, posting a raw boundaries letter on FB 27 years of shadows end today no more. It racked 50 likes from old friends. The first ripple of my unfiltered truth. The calls exploded that night, but the line was drawn my empire rising. Their regrets just beginning. Texts started pouring in before I even reached the parking lot. A barrage of digital daggers. Mom led with, "How dare you humiliate us after all we've sacrificed those school supplies weren't free." Dad followed, "Your mother's in tears. Hope you're proud." Madison's was a novel selfish much. The kids are suffering because of your attitude. Think of their future. Riley chimed in, "Owe us big time. Remember the mittens I shared in 3rd grade? Flying monkeys mobilized cousins and aunts I hadn't heard from since middle school. All reminding me of family duty. It was a predictable playlist. Week 1 outrage. Week 2 guilt about the nieces. Week 3 forgive and pay up. Week 4 we bought your winter coat once. The final straw landed 2 weeks later, unannounced. Mom and Madison showed up on my porch, snow dusting their coats, bawling like an audition for a bad soap. "We always loved you," Mom wailed. "Just wanted to guide your money wisely. It's family." Madison clutched a tissue. "Don't let pride destroy us all." Security camera caught every frame, their faces twisted in performative grief. I didn't open the door. Instead, I texted Kendra, "Time for the cease letter." She drafted it that night, formal, airtight, barring contact except emergencies, delivered certified. "Consider this your firewall," she said when I signed. I blocked them across the board phones, emails, socials, even LinkedIn where Dad tried networking. Riley got the boot too, no exceptions. His side eye earning him the same silence. Kendra's letter hit like a shutdown command, and the fallout unfolded in real time. Madison and Dylan's McMansion went under CH7 bankruptcy, sealed it. Foreclosure complete after 6 months under New Jersey law. The house auctioned off in a packed courtroom. Madison dove into MLM essential oils on Facebook, hawking diffusers for stress relief she clearly needed. Scraping $20,000 a year amid returns and complaints. The divorce papers filed 3 months post-dinner. Dylan bolting for a Web3 baby food venture that fizzled faster than his crypto dream. Their kids switched to public school. The gasp-worthy fall from grace Madison once dreaded. Brandon and Carla's retirement evaporated. Dad slugged through overtime at the dealership. Commissions drying up in the Northeast slump. Social Security too distant to touch. Carla burned out counseling. Her examples of bad structure now backfiring on her whispers from colleagues about that Hayes drama cost her a part-time gig. No more parent-teacher nights for her, just endless nights grading papers alone. Riley spiraled too. His college scholarship yanked after family stress tanked his GPA, too many missed classes. Too much helping at home. He ghosted everyone, crashing on friends' couches, a distant echo of the taunter he'd become. No calls from him begging, just radio silence. The family chain broken for good. Me thriving looked like shedding the weight I'd carried. Stress eating stopped, pounds melted. Skin cleared no more, tired complexion lectures. The mirror showed someone new. someone who'd outgrown their labels. I launched a tech consulting firm for indie education devs. Funneling royalties from the app into separate accounts, Kendra locked down tight. Clients trickled in, then flooded studios needing my optimization tricks. Word spreading through conferences. It wasn't just money. It was purpose. Helping creators build without the burnout. Logan Reed entered the picture at a Philly Dev conference, his booth next to mine showcasing game mechanics. "This path predictor brilliant," he said, eyes lighting up. "You're lovely, inside out." No qualifiers, no pity, just real. We bonded over bad coffee, swapping stories of imposter hits. He's the one who suggested the recordings folder, a cloud vault of their greatest hits, Dad's jokes, Mom's advice, Madison's backhands, not for revenge, but reminders. When doubt creeps in, I hit play. Look what you built despite this noise. Aunt Fiona's my anchor now, dropping by for wine and trashy rom-coms, the only family tie I kept. "Blood's optional," she says, clinking glasses. "Cares what counts." Proof that not all branches rot. Sisters out there juggling scars from girlhood shaming and sibling wars. Boundaries aren't walls. They're the heel you deserve. They mend the body blows, letting you rise without apology. Build your empire on your worth, not their echoes. You've earned the light. Claim it unapologetically. Comment if you've cut ties. What's your empowerment tale? Let's lift each other up. Update Logan's in on the saga. Cracking dad jokes about coding our way to bliss. No more startup pitches. Madison, your MLM's not my vibe. And yeah, that engine powers half the top study apps this year legally. That's all I can spill.